All right, so I'm using Fabriano 100% cotton cold pressed paper. This is the bright white. It's the purple cover here. I got my paper towels and my paints. And for abstract, you're just kind of playing with color and just movement of the watercolor itself. You can start to use some pencil. You can play around with all the kind of fun stuff. I will just start to grab just a pencil itself. Just mark off like areas. Maybe I would have the horizon line like up here. You know, I'm not going to make a perfect straight line, but you can. And maybe I'd have like this more like a coastal kind of abstract kind of scene, so I'm kind of wiggling it like this. Still using my pencils, kind of make some like rocks. And I'm just standing here and kind of scribbling, right? Scribbling what rocks would be, and this would be the water. Just a lot of energy and movement with the pencil. Scribble. You can kind of have some lines kind of coming down here like this. You want to put a lighthouse out here or whatever, but then it wouldn't be abstract, right? So I'm just doing the scribbles. It can be rocks here. A good thing to have also is a credit card. Now this one has no rounded corners. You need to have one that has rounded corners. Helps to make some really good rocks, and I have a tutorial on that on my YouTube. There's a tutorial on how to make rocks easily. I did this wonderful, simple lighthouse picture. You can find this on YouTube. I'll put the link in the description, and how to make this kind of rocks. So similar kind of atmospheric kind of thing. So now I'm going to move into making a sky, just a simple sky. And I'm going to have colors kind of close by. I have this burnt sienna, ultramarine blue deep. This is cadmium yellow deep. And I'll be using Prussian blue and burnt umber, maybe some Daniel Smith. Probably the only color I really like of his is the lunar black. Playing around with some of those colors, right? If we get into some of the reds, this is cadmium red light. And these are all holbein except for Daniel Smith. And I'm using a Princeton 3/4 inch flat wash brush. I'll get it wet. I can mix up some colors, maybe some grays. So ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna I use for gray. And I'm just mixing the two. I always have them close by because I mix a lot of grays together. And I like my grays to be more bluish gray. And I'll clean up my brush again, and I'll just grab some water and just throw it up top. And if it's a little gray tinge to it, that's fine. I'm just getting this wet all up here, the sky area. And I might probably tilt my paper. So I'll lift up this block, just kind of swipe. I do like a little swipe. I'm gonna get a little bit looser, so this paint is a little bit wet, a little bit looser, like tea consistency. Maybe add a little bit more blue. So the sky doesn't have to be perfect. I'll leave a little white for clouds. Just some fun energy. Now there seems to be like no water over here, which is fine. And I'm gonna lift this up here, and let it just kind of come down here. It's just a perfect little simple sky. And what's great about mixing those two colors is sometimes because they are granulating colors, the colors sit into the crevices of the wonderful toothy kind of cold pressed paper. I'm just grabbing a little bit dark clouds. They get linear. It's more like lines on the bottom as they get down. So this is a little bit more serious sky. And then down for the bottom, I'm done with the sky. You want to go really fast with the sky. You don't want to keep playing with it. Don't keep playing with the sky. So now we're going to grab that burnt sienna color, loosen this up, and get this ready. Right? I am going to put some of this color here. And I could just kind of move this color downward because I want this to be blue. I could just loosen this up, clean up, get this really kind of thin color. Just kind of move it through here and go kind of fast again. See, I'm just kind of washing in this color with this wash brush. Still getting very wet over in here. That's the first wash. I might even add a little bit of yellow. Whoops, that's a little too much yellow. Throw a little bit of yellow in there for fun. Already feeling like this is like a coastal area. But again, it's abstract, it's not perfect. You're just kind of really loosely painting this, putting in some of that yellow paint. Could even grab a little bit of that red, or even a little bit of pink. I have this bright rose color. So a little bit of bright rose is kind of fun. Throw that color in. Just whipping in some of these colors, right? Get that lunar black a little bit loose. And I'll throw some of that over here. Maybe even these two colors with that. The ultimate blue deep and burnt sienna. Just kind of playing out here. Deeper color, right? If you want a little green out there, because maybe there's some tree, some life out there. Cadmium yellow deep and some Prussian blue. It's a little dark. I want to get more yellow in here. A little bit brighter, a little bit more fun. And even add a little bit of burnt umber. And I'm just going to tap little taps on the side of my brush and up and top. Oh, kind of going into the water. That's okay. Got a little too fast, zealous. And I'll just mush it out a little bit here. See? You get a little bit darker with that paint. Tap, 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 tap. Just in the corner of this brush. And that's all I'm doing for greens. Just playing with that, right? So you get those reds. Want a lot of color, having fun here. I'm gonna just put this something underneath it to tilt it more, just like a roll of tape. And now I'm gonna wash out some of this color coming down here. Maybe add a little bit more gray, just a little brown. Lift up some of this color, remove it, get more blue in there to get it gray. Clean up my brush, get it clean, and just wash some water in here. Just kind of washing this down. Going to the edge. You don't have to go to the edge. Just washing a light color. And now I mix the two again. I'm throwing in some grays. I'm just kind of twisting and turning my brush. Just like that. Okay, for this ocean area, again, I'm going to wipe away some of my color here. So your ocean could be ultramarine blue deep, or it could be mostly Prussian blue. Here's the Prussian blue with the blue. I'm going to mix those two blues together, ultramarine blue deep. Prussian blue can be more green. That's really bright. I could go and add some lunar black. I can even add a little bit of burnt umber in there. Change that color, right? It can be real deep, kind of almost like a navy, playing around with color. So I'm going to wash that deep color in just by holding the brush like this, going across. You can leave some areas for white, like the waves are kind of crashing in. And that's it, right? How much effort was that? Zippo. The waves are crashing in. It's not a perfect kind of picture. It's not supposed to be. It's semi-abstract. Might want to put in some darker lines too out here. And that's kind of it. Don't want to work too much. Don't want to fuss. Don't want to fuss. Don't want to fuss. It's a really quick, kind of semi-abstract. So now I wanted this all to dry. This is going to be kind of an underpainting. And we kind of scrape the rocks. We have these wonderful colors underneath here. That's why I said I want to add some pinks and some reds. It's always kind of fun to add different colors to it, because you know, rocks are not like one gray color tone. There's so much nuances to it. Mm-hmm. And if you feel like putting a little bit more pinky colors in there, go ahead. And here's some. I always add a little bit of pink with a little bit of red. Water it down. Maybe even some orange, right? You can add a little bit of yellow. It's still damp. You can kind of play around with putting some of that in there. And then we have to let it dry. We'll come back and we're going to put some rocks. Really simple rock technique again, but just kind of really effective. Okay, this should be dry. So take some ultramarine blue deep, a good amount of this paint, and some burnt sienna. Mix them together. And you want the consistency to be where you can move it. It's kind of thick, right? And this is almost like cream consistency, deep dark gray, And I know you're going to be like, what? What's she painting over these rocks? We're going to do some areas, not all areas. We're going to just kind of put that paint there, kind of twist it. Don't do every area, just some of it. And then back here. Maybe taps over in here. See how I can just twisted it, put that thick color on here? Now it's starting to seep into the paper. We want a little thicker, not so thin. You can test a few. This is very, very white. You can see how shiny it is. These ones are not. And you can take your credit card, hold it outside, and twist. And you get that wonderful rock kind of texture kind of happening here. And the other colors are coming through. So I'm going to put in a little translucent one over here. If you did a mass area like that, right, like I did in my lighthouse picture, it's still seeping through. And you want the one with the rounded corner. You want the credit card with the rounded corner. And you're going to push down and twist. Right? And you'll see some colors coming through. You're going to move the paint. It's an easy way to make rocks. Right? Looks like a huge rock formation. Now, if you didn't want all those kind of colored rocks, maybe you want it a little bit looser. I'm going to just lift up some of these. Just taking a wet, damp paintbrush. I don't like these edges right here. I kind of loosen those up and tap it back on my paper towel. Just get rid of some of those like hard edges. And you can even just tap in the paper towel some areas like this. You still got the rocks. Like I said, if you don't want it so dark in some areas, you can kind of lift. But you see those rocks. It makes your life a lot easier. Gonna grab a little bit of burnt sienna. Just kind of push out that color a little bit here. The rocks. Kind of a fun way to make rocks, right? Go back and you can tap in the color. Just tippy tap, even grab more brown. Kind of twist your brush and come out here. Make bigger ones, right? Those are really small kind of rocks. Maybe you're making bigger ones. So a bigger surface area and twist. It's a bigger rock here. Thicker, I grab some Daniel Smith. Out this way. Just a fun way to make rocks. Tap, twist, turn. Clean up my brush. Grab a little bit more burnt sienna. And twist that color out here. And again, we got this kind of fun stuff down here. I'll just take my brush. Dry brush, which means it's just not real watery paint down here. And I can go back and use my credit card, a smaller one with the corner, to get a little more divots. Just makes easy rocks. Or you want to use a bigger one. Don't want to scrape too much, but it makes your life really easy. And you get that highlight in some areas without having to lift the paint. Right? That's like coastal waterway. It's semi-abstract. Totally different from the hard edge right here on the edge of the water. And I might just grab a little bit of some blue and burnt sienna. Just kind of put it out a little bit towards the water. Just so it blends a little bit. There's a harsh blues. Isn't that fun? And now you could even splatter some of that here with some white watercolor. So maybe the crashing waves, or it could be gouache. I'm grabbing the wrong color. White watercolor. Winsor & Newton for this. Take a smaller brush, like a Princeton 8 long round. Small brush will do smaller splatters. Bigger brush, bigger splatters. Loosen up the paint. Loosen it up. Not super loose. A little bit of water, because then it becomes really translucent. And you gotta get close down to the paper and tap it on top of another brush or something like that. Get some splatters down here, like it splashed up here. Went up a little bit, but you see what I'm saying? You could cover this area if it makes it better and easier for you. Splash, wave, hitting the rocks, right? It's going to dissipate a little bit too. Right now it just looks like a bunch of splashes. If that doesn't work for you, you can always just kind of just tap it. Boom. It's just fun to play with semi-abstract. It's not always going to be perfect. Might grab my Daniel Smith again. Kind of throw some of that bleeding color in here. While it's still wet, just tap some of the dark all the way up to the edge. Gotta have fun. A little bit of dark color. And then also maybe add some like grass or weeds or something like that. So I would take a liner brush, grab some burnt umber, mixed in with even that lunar black, maybe some more brown. This is a number 4 Umbria series. And just kind of wisp some grasses. Grab that lunar black. Just kind of wisp up some of these areas. And maybe do like a couple here and there. Little grasses. You could make them green. This is more of a olivey green. But you can make it a bright green with the blue, peacock blue and yellow in some areas. It's up to you. Isn't that fun? I'm going to go back here and just even out my land area. And that's just how you create a simple, semi-abstract coastal scene, right? You're not doing anything really crazy. You're making these rocks and you got this really cool look. Let me know your thoughts on how to do something simple like this. If you like it, enjoy it. And if you look closely, you see all the wonderful texture from those granulating watercolors. Now I got some splatters up there. You can just kind of tap them out. That's why I say you want to cover it just to make sure you don't get them up in the top. You can wait till it dries too and add a couple just like little flowers and stuff like in here. Play around with it. And some areas of the water, if you feel like they're too white in areas, you can just kind of go in here, like right here. Might add some dark blues. Just play around with that as well. If they feel like they're too white. Looks a little better. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that great? And didn't take much time or energy and effort. And I really, really encourage you not to fuss and fiddle with the sky. Just a really clean, once you get that wet, just a simple sweep here and there. Done. Lay it flat. If you keep fussing with it, you're going to create those funky little cauliflower blooms and all kinds of stuff that you're not going to like. And really, just put some color down and scraping it, and you get that wonderful color underneath. It's a super simple technique that's really, really effective, especially if you have a hard time painting rocks. This is really easy. All right, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.